Welcome to New Jersey Politics with Laura Jones. I am Laura Jones, and we are coming to you from the State House in Trenton, New Jersey, where in just a few short weeks, a new governor will take office, Governor-elect Mikey Sherrill. But before that happens, there is a lot of work to be done here in the legislature. It is lame duck session, and we are speaking with the Assembly Speaker Craig Coughlin about his legislative priorities over the next few weeks as Phil Murphy ends his time here in Trenton and Mikey Sherrill is gearing up to take over as New Jersey's next governor. My next guest is the Lieutenant Governor-elect, Dr. Dale Caldwell. We spoke to Dr. Caldwell, who was also just named as Secretary of State. Let's listen in to that interview. Dr. Dale Caldwell is New Jersey's Lieutenant Governor-elect. He's also my guest right now. Dr. Caldwell, welcome and congratulations.
Thank you so much. It's nice to see you again. We've seen each other through the years, so it's an honor to be here.
You have so much experience inside of Trenton, outside of Trenton, leading up to the election. We heard a lot from Mikey Sherrill about what the first few days in office were going to look like. She talks about freezing energy costs. She talks about tackling affordability. What I want to know about is what are things looking like behind the scenes, the days leading up to Inauguration Day?
Well, this is it's an exciting time, and it's just an honor to be here to be transition chair. And there's so much talent in the state. So it's a good problem to have. There's so many talented people to put on the transition committees to look at appointments. And so we're going through, and Kelly just said is fantastic, and we have a great team. So it's really, really kind of exciting to kind of remake the way that we address the challenges of New Jersey.
Yeah, I'm curious as to how many resumes are coming across your desk. How many people are calling you up on the phone? What's the reality of what's happening behind the scenes? I think people are interested to know what that's like.
Well, literally hundreds and hundreds of resumes are coming through the process. All of them don't come through me, but friends I haven't talked to in a while are reaching out. But it's important, and this is so often, and I've spent a lot of time in government and nonprofits and corporations, and leadership is everything. And so we need to pick the right leaders of different departments, of divisions within departments. And we're really looking at their ability to really follow Mikey's agenda of transparency, accountability, and customer service. And that's a priority of what we're doing.
When it comes to a transition, the governor-elect Mikey Sherrill, she's looking at making so many appointments. You're looking at cabinet members, heads of department. It is quite a bit. So with the transition, there comes some uncertainty as well. What do you want the people of New Jersey to understand about what is happening and also about your vision, how it fits in your role in this administration?
Well, most importantly, it's important for the people of New Jersey to know that they've been heard. I mean, one of the things when I first sat with Mikey, I was so impressed with her listening skills. She's a great listener, and I think I'm not bad myself. And so what we've done in all 21 counties and make, it's important to point that we're still going out there. We're meeting with people. We're not just sitting in an office looking at resumes, and we're continuing to figure out what are the challenges that people have and what kind of leaders are the appropriate leaders to go forward into this next 4 years of the administration. So it's actually a lot of fun, and we're learning a lot.
Your background, so much of it was spent in education, a topic near and dear to your heart. So, can you talk a little bit about how you see your role evolving? We haven't had a lot of lieutenant governors in the history of the state of New Jersey. You're the first male to be elected to this position. So, can you just discuss a little bit about your role, how it's being defined by your passions, whether it's from community affairs, religion, education? How is that evolving with you?
Well, one of the things that Mikey liked is my background in entrepreneurship. I ran the Entrepreneurial Institute at Fairleigh Dickinson, started the Institute of Entrepreneurship at Centenary, but I spent 2 decades on the K-12 New Brunswick Board and the Educational Services Commission. So I have a pretty good sense of the pre-K to 16 pipeline. And so on the education piece, we're really looking at how do we make education more effective and seamless between, high school, college, the workforce, but also looking at small businesses. Roughly half of the population are employed by small businesses. So that's a portfolio that I'm really looking at. How do we really help small businesses grow, and how do we expand the tax base? We don't want to increase taxes, but by expanding the tax base, it can address some of our financial issues. And then obviously as a pastor of Covenant United Methodist Church in Plainfield, really working with the faith-based institutions, those organizations have spaces to do a lot of the community service work that in a cost-effective way that can really help to transform the state.
Well, that's really important because affordability is the biggest issue for New Jersey families, and the state can't fix everything, but they can forge partnerships and your connections, your experience that really runs deep in the state of New Jersey. Everybody knows you in Trenton. They know who you are. They know the things that you've accomplished, you've done. So, can you talk a little bit about how the administration is going to work with the private sector, with businesses, with community outreach, and tackling affordability?
Well, and so often, administrations have not looked at the community. And so I was the founding executive director of the Newark Alliance, obviously in the New Brunswick board. I worked in Camden and Asbury Park, Irvington, Patterson. So we know these communities. And the beautiful thing, Laura, is that these communities are doing a lot of the things that sometimes government tries to do less effectively. So one of the things Mikey and I want to do is really empower those communities. And many of those communities were part of the base that gave us this mandate. So by working with the communities that I know very well, and they know my heart, we can really, really help them become much more effective, expand what they do to serve the communities, and really make New Jersey more affordable in a way that doesn't cost a lot of tax dollars.
Well, that's it, right? Not working harder, it's working smarter with people and places, the systems that work. We were talking before we even came on camera. You were at the Village Charter School, and a lot of charter schools, the footprints, the blueprints, the work that they are doing there, they're producing some really amazing, very successful students, setting them up for success.
And I'm unique in that I'm very passionate about traditional public schools and charter schools. Schools that work. And one of the things we talked about, and I think we would before when I was at the village charter school, many of the students had what looked like post-traumatic stress disorder, but it wasn't post, it was continuous. So I actually coined this term urban traumatic stress disorder. And why is that important? Because there are ways to deal with mindfulness and other things, help students become more effective. So when we're putting money in urban areas, we've got to pay attention to the social, emotional well-being to really help kids get the most out of who they are. Has nothing to do with how smart they are, but the challenges make it very hard to focus. So as we build this around education about the labor force and others, we're really looking at addressing those kinds of things so that people can be all that they can be.
Well, I think that leads me to the next question, and we put a lot into our public education system. We have one of the best public education systems in the country, and a lot of students, they leave the state at the college or they join the workforce. And I know that Mikey Sherrill has talked about strengthening the state's economy. So can you talk a little bit about your priorities when it comes to ensuring we're not only educating, but we're keeping those students in the state, having jobs for them, and then the bigger picture, growing the state's business economy as well?
And this is actually an area where I have a unique perspective in that I really see why students are leaving because there's a gap between K-12 and higher education. What happens is there's no really alignment between K-12 with all of the various incredible schools that we have in New Jersey. So by creating this alignment and this really alliance between the two, we can begin to really make it clear to young people that staying in state can actually be cheaper and more effective. But we've got to make sure we use all of them, the small institutions like Centenary that I'm running, as well as the large ones that with Kane and Rutgers. But I think there's a way that we can have something for everyone. And as long as we work together, and right now we're all independent agents. And so I think Mikey and I can really help all the higher ed work together much more closely.
And as you go through this time of transition, you're really trying to set a tone for the next 4 years and possibly beyond. So, what are the qualities you're really looking for and the governor elect is looking for as you build this team and really define your responsibilities within the administration?
Well, leadership is so critical, but really servant leadership. Mikey is very, very tough, but she's someone who has compassion as well. I'm pretty tough and the same thing. And I think folks that are genuinely focused on that. But also, as I was talking about, transparency, accountability, and customer service. That at the end of the day, it's the citizens of New Jersey who elected us, and we've got to make government work better for them, for small businesses. There's just way too many delays in permitting and licensing and other things. And so we really have to make sure that we have leaders that are going to really ride herd on things that are actually for no legislative or regulatory reason are delayed. And so it's just we have to make New Jersey government work better. And it's not about a particular administration or anybody. It's really about where we are today And going forward, I think there's some tremendous opportunities to make some big impact pretty quickly.
Looking ahead, not just the first 100 days, but a year from now, what do you hope that we're going to be talking about when it comes to some of the earliest and biggest accomplishments from you that you would like to have? And again, past those first 100 days into the first year.
Well, obviously, there's a high priority. Mike has put a high priority on utility rates and really getting the best and brightest minds to figure out how we can address that crisis. It's just unaffordable for folks. So we're going to see some things there, but we're also going to see a lot of things with small businesses. I really, at the end of the day, the small businesses are the employers for many of the local communities. They're the employers who can help people come off of poverty. And so when we look at what they can do and how they can be empowered, I think you'll see in the first year some strides that we've not seen for many, many years. But also nonprofits, that are the groups that are servicing every aspect of the quality of life in the community. If we really look at how we can empower, then you're going to start to see those kinds of things. And hopefully with transportation, which has obviously been a priority of Mikey's over the years, that we can begin to look at. It's a lot. I mean, it's a lot. But so much of it is mindset. As a college professor, if we can get people to change their mindset to really be positive about the opportunity, it's amazing what that can do to really make change quickly.
Dr. Dale Caldwell, we could take an entire show to any one of these topics we've talked about today, but we're going to end it there. And again, congratulations, New Jersey's Lieutenant Governor-elect. We thank you so much for taking the time. It has been a pleasure.
Thank you so much. It's been an honor. It's good to see you again, and I look forward to talking in the future.
At AmeriHealth, we understand what's important to you. It's why we offer some of the lowest cost health plans in New Jersey, with access to one of the state's largest networks of doctors and hospitals. Plus, with free 24/7 virtual care, you can see a doctor anytime and anywhere. And we're committed to giving back to help make a difference in our communities. Learn more at AmeriHealth.com. A health plan for everyone.
Play it like the New York Sirens. Live in the spotlight. Etch your name in lights. Embrace the noise. And when it calls you, turn it up. Get louder. Play it like they'll hear us everywhere. Because this is our team. New York Sirens. Play it big.
Assembly Speaker Craig Coughlin, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us. You're about to head into your fifth term, the longest serving Assembly Speaker in the history of the New Jersey Assembly. Let's just get your reflections, your thought on that, making history.
Well, but first of all, it's incredibly humbling that my colleagues have selected me now for what will be the fifth term. It is something that I don't think anybody ever can prepare themselves for. I was fortunate enough to be speaker once, and after that, it has just been an opportunity to continue to do great things for the state of New Jersey, and I think we've done a lot of good things over the time that I've had the privilege of serving as the speaker. And so, on a personal level, it's something that my grandkids, I guess, will probably get to look at my picture out in the hallway someday and say, hey, that was my grandfather, and hopefully that will bring them some pride, and hopefully I'll be worthy of the trust of my colleagues and make them proud for their selection.
And, it's quite a day you bring up grandchildren. Your newest grandchild, born just a few hours ago.
Not had stopped having a smile since Carter was born at 3:11 this morning, Carter Coughlin. And I can't wait to see him. He's he's 19 days early, so we had to scramble a little bit yesterday. My wife's with my granddaughter, and so it's a special day. Yeah.
Well, congratulations on that. This time of year is a big time of year, a transition time. One governor leaving, another one about to take office, but they call this lame duck season. But it's really not a good way to describe what's going on in Trenton. It's actually quite busy. Can you talk about some of your legislative priorities during this lame duck session?
Sure. So we have been talking about in the assembly and in the legislature for a number of years now about the need to make New Jersey more affordable for people and to take into account the things that really matter in people's day-to-day life. And so I think we're going to continue on with some of the things that we have been working on before we continue to go on to the things in the new session. We're looking at doing some worker protections here. We have a bill that would allow, it's called, I always get it backwards, Retire Ready, I should say. Retire Ready, which will reduce the number of employees that an employer has to have before they offer to people who want to create their own retirement funds. If the employer doesn't have their own, and there's a way for employees to prepare for their own retirement. I think there's no cost other than some time to fill out some paperwork by the employer, and we think that's good. We're going to reduce the number of employees down to one. So if you have one, you have to offer to them. And so too for family leave. We've made significant changes in family leave because it matters so much to young families. We talk about having a child. We raised the amount of money that people got because we realized that people weren't taking it because it wasn't providing enough income. And this is done before my grandkids years ago. So again, there's a number of employees that you need before that kicks in. We'd like to reduce that number of employees so that everybody can take advantage of it, whether you work in a very small company or not. Recognizing the challenges, and we've tried to provide for employers in that regard. But there are things like that. I think one of the things we need to look at is there was some money in the budget that it didn't make it, I guess, through the budget process. But childcare is something that's critically important to young families, right? We've done some things to help keep grandparents around when we passed Stay NJ, which is designed to give property tax breaks to senior citizens, and hopefully they'll stick around and continue to do the wonderful things that they do for their community and for their families. And so, by helping families to meet that challenge, because it really is expensive, working on those kind of things. So I think we'll do that.
And can you just talk a little bit about how you balance all of that as the Assembly Speaker? Because the governor has some agenda items he would like to get through. You mentioned the cell phone ban, the bell-to-bell cell phone ban. He's talked about some energy initiatives, also about housing affordability, perennial things that are always issues in New Jersey. You have the Senate that has their priorities. And then you have Mikey Sherrill, the governor-elect. When she comes in, she'll have her priorities. So, yeah, as Assembly Speaker, how do you balance and rectify and really, lay out the priorities of this needs to get done? Because when that legislative year closes, a new session starts. So, people don't always understand, well, we kind of have to start the ball rolling again.
You're right. That is something, Laura, that people don't often understand. You could be working on a bill for 10 years and you're finally getting it to the point where you think it's about to go over the goal line. And if it doesn't get over, you start all over again. Come next year, it's blank slate again. So I think I'm very fortunate to have a strong working relationship with the Senate President, strong working relationship with Governor Murphy, and have built a relationship with Governor-elect Sherrill that I think will allow us to all be on the same page. I think we all have the common goal, some really common goals in terms of making New Jersey more affordable, standing up for working class people, being on the side of New Jerseyans who go to work every day and make the state great. So some of it is a matter of priority. If there are timelines that are we have to get them done in time, that's one things we'll take into account. Others are for things like Governor Murphy. This is his final opportunity to leave his fingerprint, and it's been a marvelous fingerprint on the state of New Jersey, and to leave some things that he wanted to get done, a la the school, the banning of the the phones. Um, Coordinating with everybody else, making sure we get to the right place. The challenge is to not be hasty, but to be efficient and to be effective at getting those things done in a timely manner. So it's just the it's not just it's can be a very challenging time. So working together with people you've built a relationship with, there's no such thing as too many good relationships. It's important to be able to work together, recognizing what is truly a priority and what is important and how it's going to make the impact, the biggest impact on everybody else, and recognizing everybody's needs coming together.
Just reflecting on the recent election.
It's what it does. It takes a lot of work and time.
That's right, behind the scenes, everything happening. But looking back at the election, you're going to be seeing a lot of or some new faces here. You're going to have the largest majority you've had since the 70s. I'm not exactly right, since Watergate. So can you talk a little bit about on the Democratic side, about what type of mandate that's sending, and also how you do continue to work across the aisle, because the Democrats have had control over Trenton for so many years. And again, Mikey Sherrill making history because we haven't had a governor win the 3 terms that they talked about back to back. So can you talk a little bit about, the history that's making, the mandate the voters sent, and then again, what about the Republicans, the other side, ensuring that their voices are heard?
So I think what I think it says, as I said before, we started now, it was 4 or 5 years ago, to focus on the conversation about making sure we make New Jersey more affordable and listening to people at what we refer to as kitchen table issues. They're the things that matter in people's life day to day. That's the stuff, right? Make sure people think they have a fair shot at things, that they're being treated fairly, that what matters to them is what should matter to the people that they're chosen to represent them in the state. And so I think what we saw in November in the elections is a referendum on our message. And I think that what people said overwhelmingly is that we're hearing them, and so now it's incumbent for us to continue to hear them and then put those things into action. And so the beauty of having, and I'm excited to have a supermajority, as we said, not since Watergate have Democrats had this many representatives, is that we will be able to hear. Because we've added representatives from some other districts, we'll be able to hear those voices with a representative from places that we haven't over the last couple of years, in some places not in decades. Melding those in, including those ideas, listening to people, that's what this really is all about. And I think that's the mandate. The mandate is for us to say, we heard you, we trust you, we've seen demonstration of that in some of the things that we have done. And now the mandate is to live up to that promise and live up to the trust that the people of New Jersey have put in us. Over 96% of the bills that we have passed in the Assembly this term have had bipartisan support. We passed Republican bills, sponsored bills. So I'm proud of that record. I'm proud of the working relationship I have with John DeMeo, who is a gentleman and a good legislative leader, a fine legislative leader. So we're going to continue to do what we've been doing. And I think that matters to people too, right? They want us to get along. They count on us to get stuff right, and they count on us to work together to do that.
Assembly Speaker, thank you so much for taking the time. Very busy time, a time of transition, and a lot to celebrate for you this holiday season. Congratulations on your grandson.
Right. Thank you so much. That's very kind. Pleasure to be with you.
And that'll do it for today. I'm Laura Jones. Thanks so much for watching New Jersey Politics. We look forward to seeing you back here next time.
At AmeriHealth, we understand what's important to you. It's why we offer some of the lowest cost health plans in New Jersey, with access to one of the state's largest networks of doctors and hospitals. Plus, with free 24/7 virtual care, you can see a doctor anytime and anywhere. And we're committed to giving back to help make a difference in our communities. Learn more at AmeriHealth.com. A health plan for everyone.
Play it like the New York Sirens. Live in the spotlight. Etch your name in lights. Embrace the noise. And when it calls you, turn it up. Get louder. Play it like they'll hear us everywhere. Because this is our team. New York Sirens. Play it big.